In a world where Jesus didn't die for our sins, this kind of feces happens. But before we get to that, let's turn back to the good old days. When Masato's mama was cooking him dinner while he was filling out a questionnaire, claiming to have a very average relationship with her, yet that's how it seems from his perspective, not hers. As she clings to him and makes the ever cutest face in anime after being shoved away. Later that day, Matsumi, from the cabinet office, arrives at the still normal household to inform Masato he is to start a new life inside a video game. And just like that, our boy gets isekai'd in the most peaceful way. Well, kinda. You see, after entering the new world and seeing all the fantasy creatures that could be breedable, Mamako, his mother, appears beside him cock-blocking our boy from his happiness. Now first thing first, the son and mom dynamic duo head to see the transportation king, who registers them as normal hero and normal hero's mother, and explains they were selected based on Masato's questionnaire and have been transported inside the game via unexplained technology. The kind that Mamako defiantly doesn't understand. So the king hands the sweetheart a guidebook to help in her adventuring endeavors. Then he allows Masato to choose a sword. The main man selects Firmament, the holy sword of the great heavens, while Mamako grabs two swords, Terra de Madre, the holy sword of Mother Earth, and Altura, the holy sword of Mother Ocean, planning to use them as kitchen knives. However, she ends up using them to cut down the monsters in the tutorial phase. It becomes clear, real fast, Mamako is more powerful than Masato, especially after all he did was fire one blast at the sky to drop one poor bird that happened to be passing by. R.I.P. Feeling like a beta, Masato questions his mom on why she followed him. She first says other mothers sometimes get sent inside video games with their sons, which is undoubtedly complete horse crap, and our boy can smell right through it. So she admits Masumi sent her with him for a secret reason, yet she can't say what. Which angered the young hero to point, he said, "I will disown you if you don't come clean." Upon hearing this, his mama's heart broke, and she started crying. Thankfully, the guy is not a complete jerk, and he apologized to his sweet angel right after releasing she loves him so much and won't do anything that would hurt him or bother him. And so, they begin their journey in the kingdom of Mamalia, where the sweet angel turns into a demon of destruction, unleashing the wrath of her holy sword on innocent NPCs to assert dominance, just like how her trusty guidebook says. Now at the Adventurers Guild, they meet the desk assistant, Masumi, who although looks and acts uncannily like Masumi from the cabinet office, is in fact not her but an in-game object. She tasks Masato with recruiting other players into his party. So he does and picks 3 girls. But Mamako decides she must interview them to see which will be suitable future bride? ? Yeah, I too don't know how in the Lord's name this plot twist happened. That said, it seems our boy is sentenced to stay a virgin for the rest of this journey as Mamako rejects the girls he chose. Instead, she recruits Porta, a merchant and a craftswoman with a bag that arguably can store anything without limit. Add to that, the girl is kind of like Mamako, pure and devoted. Helped. Masato then tries to reject Wise, a sage with healing and combat magic and a difficult personality. So she teleports them away to step on him while wearing a mini skirt in a blowing wind. Not a very good choice. That said, after somewhat calming down, Wise reveals the name game MMMMMORPG stands for Mother's Massively Maternal Multiplayer Makeup with Offspring Role-Playing Game. Was made to improve the mother-child relationship, and to return home they need to become closer as they do their adventuring. Wise further explains her relationship with her mother is so bad they split up, and she wants Mamako to adopt her instead so that she can leave the game. Meanwhile, on the other end, Masumi teaches Mamako the skill to locate Masato, and although it sounded peaceful at the start, the spell ended with the lovebirds being lunged into the sky, after which Wise gets thrown in jail. Mamako promises to help Wise, and her mother reconciles, offering her to join their party so she might meet her down the line. Bringing us to our next stop, the group's first dungeon, a glory hole in the ground. Mamako falls into it. The lovebirds try to reach for her but end up reaching for her bosom. Thus, they all fall to what is supposed to be a friendly dungeon for new players to level up and get some loot. But instead, they get thrown into a dark, gloomy dungeon, and luckily through Mamako unlocks a mom skill, Mother's Light, allowing them to see. They encounter some cute slimes that turn out to be freaky little rascals as they transform into one big slime, and shoot cloth-dissolving liquid, which, as you guessed it, put our boy in a very harem situation with his mom. Embarrassed, the fair lady stands up with the holy sword in hand. She defeats the fan service gods, revealing the coffin with another Matsumi inside it. After Wise revives her, she introduces herself as Masumi the mysterious nun and gives them a new quest. To prepare for their success, the party shops for equipment, and with equipment, we mean armor that only covers their morality. So it may seem non-existent. Well, at least that is what I concluded from the first set Mrs. Mom tried. The second was kinda aight. If it was on the hub, while the third set, although dark, it weirdly suited her and complemented her mommy energy. Yet Lamdek Masato decides it's not good, so she goes to try another one. While waiting with best girl so far, Mamako arrives rocking her new drip. Yet, Masato becomes frustrated with Mamako and snaps at her for being herself, but immediately feels guilty when she apologizes to him and then offers Masato to rest his head on her lap while she takes care of his ears. A classic mom-son bonding move. Back at the village, the chief explains the Empress of Night has demanded an attractive man and asks Masato to defeat her. And as a reward, he lets the gang enjoy the outdoor bath for free. Masato enjoys a hot spring, only to be joined by Mamako, Porta, and Wise, who reveal that she knows the Empress. Meanwhile, Matsumi informs the Empress she has broken too many rules. Therefore, the game designers have decided to forcefully yeet her out. However, a woman with men acting like her throne is not to be underestimated, as she easily stops the nun from deleting her and processes to use a cheat to kill her. Back in the hotel, Wise tells Masato she will face the Empress alone, so Masato, with only a towel covering him, goes out and tries to stop her, resulting in a classic sus, ecchi, oops I slipped situation. But this is unlike any other situation as the guy's mother walks on them to give her little boy a matching pajama. After cleaning the air, Wise, with the adorable Porta on her lap like a stuffed doll, admits the Empress is her mother who forced her to enter the game to fix their relationship and then abandoned her after she realized she could use her magic to establish a new life in the game with money and young men. Wise claims to no longer care, but Mamako knows she is lying and proves it by hugging Wise, who admits the hug feels weird as it did not come from her mother, but has the same warm maternal feeling. She then falls asleep on the most comfortable cushion, Mommy's lap. Before heading out to look for the Empress, they stumble upon Matsumi's body, so with the power of magic the party revives her, and she reveals the Empress, aka Kazuno, is suspected of cheating and such action can be fined. We talking millions in fines. Masumi offers to relinquish the fine if Wise can repair their relationship, which she accepts. And so the vampire nun uses a spell to locate the wild woman. Kazuno emerges from a portal and immediately starts a fight. She first conjures a sea of lava, then uses nearby trees to trap the Milf and the lolly. Later she summons a white room. Masato realizes she is using a hacking tool. Kazuno reveals she plans to use it in the real world to hack her way to riches and power. Kazuno then refuses to listen to Wise as she is still angry due to the harsh words her daughter said to her, and sends the redhead flying denouncing her feelings. Masato tries to reason with her as he too said some shit in the past to his mom that he's not proud of, but the cougar still refuses to listen. Thus enter Mamako. She suddenly breaks the room. With her holy swords in hand, the Battle of the Milf starts. Mamako uses her 2-hit multi-target attack to overwhelm the cougar defenses, while Masato uses one of Porto's tools to seal Kazuno's magic after realizing she is a sage like Wise. Overwhelmed, Kazuno falls from the sky, though Wise catches her before she hits the ground, begging for them to reconcile. Kazuno returns to her true form, only to begin arguing with Wise immediately. But it's more like mom-daughter banter. That said, Kazuno had no right violating her daughter like the way she did her. Anywho's, Masumi accepts this as them reconciling and clearing the game, allowing Kazuno to log out. However, Wise opts to stay with Masato, claiming she wants to help the party for fun. The real-world Masumi contacts him with a new quest to fix the problems the software writers could not, to which Masato agrees and asks his mom to come along. Mamako sheds some happy tears since her baby boy is talking to her more than ever. Soon after, Masato decides to join the Lover's Lane Academy to get more experience fighting. Yet, as the academy name suggests, there he meets a fellow student and new love interest Meri, but as usual, with every new girl comes a new mom with issues. And this woman's issue is being a controlling freak, as well as not shutting the F up. Like, I was at the point breaking my laptop screen seemed a better solution than skipping her dialogue. That was how much annoying she acted. Now in the class, we meet the other background characters who, funny enough, couldn't look more fitting in the scene. But what wasn't fitting is Meri Mama insisting on joining the lesson to ensure Meri remains at the top, and keeping her at the top is what she did. Preventing the main man from raising his hand to putting everyone to sleep, the wench sabotaged the students so that her daughter gets the experience points for correct answers solo, putting her on top. When confronted for her rude behavior, Meri Mama claims to be the greatest parent in the world since she would stop at nothing to make sure her kawaii daughter is the best. However, Masato hears someone saying, "Duck that poo-poo," but doesn't recognize who said it, and neither do we, as we are concentrating on coming up with some ridiculous PG-13 words to describe how we feel as adults. Anyhow, the main man gets summoned to the courtyard to meet a heroine, so naturally, Masato goes his way leaping with joy. He's finally gonna live his isekai fantasies, only to be crushed when the thick chick waiting for him turns out to be the woman that gave birth for him, disguised in a high school uniform. It was a blessed sight to behold, for us that is. For Masato though, it was so cursed he started crying blood. That said, Mamako tells him she came as a student to infiltrate the school with Masumi, the principal, who wants them to fix a couple of bugs, a term that a small indie company called Riot is familiar with. Fast forward a bit, Mamako observes the next class with Meri Mama, who is surprised Mamako worries more about her child making friends and acing the class which disgusts her, unlike Meri, who finds Mamako embarrassing Masato quite amusing in an endearing way. Meri Mama tries to sabotage the class yet again, but Mamako's mother-sharing skill cancels her sabotage spells. Now that Masato has developed a crush on Meri, Meri Mama begins a one-sided rivalry with Mamako. Their first lesson is cookery, which Meri manages to do well at due to Meri Mama's using her illusion magic to make the food look god tier but still taste dog shit tier. While Mamako does well but with normal methods and her food is so good, Masato, Wise, and Porta get skill boosts and experience points from eating it after she blows on it. Meri congratulates them, but Meri Mama is furious. Therefore, in swimming class, the cougar goes all out and appears in the scandalous bikini to attract all the attention, but is easily outdone by Mamako rocking the classic school swimsuit, infuriating her even further. In the pool, warriors like Wise and Masato must defeat sea monsters while crafters like Porta collect the dropped items. Mamako shouts encouragement while Meri Mama shouts criticism. So, during a race for a big fish, Meri loses her self-confidence and gives up. Thus, Masato goes to check up on her, but his attention gets diverted to a sea monster, just like the ones National Geo Hentai is famous for. The beast grabs Mamako and proceeds to take her measurements while her son looks in despair as if it was an NTR classic. Luckily though, Mamako is a strong independent woman with a holy sword in hand that can cut down the fanservice god Tentacle, allowing Masato to finish it while it's in airborne. And with that, Masato wins first place and is bear hugged by Mamako, while Meri Mama slaps Meri for failing. Masato tries to comfort her, but she runs away. They follow her only to see Meri furiously kicking a wall, swearing, and wishing her old lady was dead. Masato discusses the station with the gang while having a path, something that young Masato seems to have grown accustomed to. Like the mad dog wasn't fazed at all sitting next to his mom in her B-Day suit while facing a lolly and what can be technically considered his stepsis by now. Oh well, we are covering a trashed isekai, so who are we to judge? The next day, a festival is announced in which the students must plan with their parents for experience points. Mamako suggests a cafe, so Meri Mama also plans to do a cafe to compete with them. Meri later approaches Masato to apologize for her mother's behavior. Loverboy tells her that he doesn't mind and asks her if she's okay. Meri replies, "Yup, don't you worry that little pretty head." We might have paraphrased it a bit. Anyways, Mamoko's cafe, named Mom's Back, is immediately success among the horny NPCs, while the cougar gets ignored. Thus, to attract customers, she orders her to change into a bikini and strips Meri naked. Masato sees this when he went to say hi, leading Meri Mama to kill him. Due to being killed multiple times by the red head, Masato acquires a new skill, float. After becoming a ghost, he overhears Meri Mama ordering Meri to seduce him and ruin Mamoko's cafe. Once revived, Masato angrily confronts Meri Mama, who demands they compete in the waitress beauty contest. Meri, being a cute clumsy girl, wins 90% of the students' votes, defeating Wise, who tried to imitate her but came out as cringe rather than kawaii. That said, it's Mama Mamako who takes all the boys' hearts when she goes on stage to speak to Wise and market her cafe, accidentally defeating Meri and taking the crown. Masato takes Meri away so her mom cannot punish her. However, when Meri admits she wants to have fun and have people like the gang to call her friends, the cougar swiftly comes and chokeslams the girl in the white hood like the Undertaker, and proceeds to call her a terrible excuse for a daughter before swinging her staff. Luckily, the Milf comes running at the last second and stops her. Meri Mama admits she only pushes Meri to be the best because it allows her to claim she is the best mother. Hearing this admission, Meri unleashes her rage and transforms into a dragon, with, of course, massive Appai, since why not? Seeing this, Meri Mama tries to blame Masato and attacks him, but Mamako stops her. And the gang splits into two groups. On the first side, we have useless children versus a dragon with tatas, while on the second, we have two mature ladies going at it. Meri drains all of Wise's magic and argues with Masato for having a wonderful mother. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mamako uses another skill, Mother's Words, to communicate with Meri Mama. Indecently cracks the cougar's jewel, which seems to be a good thing since finally, the short-haired chick realizes she has been selfish and tries to apologize, but Meri attacks her. Meri then steals the staff and encases herself in a protective shell. However, no matter how hard the rocks were, Mamako managed to break through and destroy the staff, resulting in Meri transforming back into a human. Meri Mama catches her, and they reconcile, especially after realizing they didn't really mean what was said and done as they were under the dark staff's influence. Now at the academy's graduation party, Meri Mama decides to log out, leaving her daughter to decide if she wants to come along or stay with her new friends. So Meri chooses to stay and become the party's healer and Masato's heroine, much to Wise's chagrin. Masumi, the mysterious nun, arrives with the tool prizes for graduating, only to reveal they must wager the experience they gained in the classes for spins on the roulette wheel to maybe win the tools. Masato and Wise waste all their experience but only win health and magic potions. As a bonus for reconciling Meri and her mother, Masumi gives Masato a bonus spin, and he wins Mamako a new mother's apron, which he decides he can live with. Soon after, Meri quickly realizes there is not much to do at Masato's party, and she enters her dark mood. Luckily, there is still hope for the gang as Masato finds a flyer for a new tower dungeon with a single wish as its final prize and decides to invade it. However, upon arriving in the area, Masato finds it full of angry mothers. They locate Masumi in a nearby coffin. She informs them she has no knowledge of the tower and she suspects someone is sabotaging the game. Upon entering the tower's first few floors, they meet Amanti, a member of an anti-mother party called Rival. Deciding they cannot let delinquents get their hands on the wish, Masato decides to defeat Rival and return the members to their parents. However, to be strong enough to beat the tower, Masumi suggests forming a guild. They took over an old guild hall, which Mamako names the Mami Guild. Later, Masato, Meri, and Porta go shopping for building materials to repair the guild, only to see Amanti shopping as well. She attempts to insult them, but Meri unleashes her dark side, so Amanti admits she sent an assassin to their new guild. Wise suddenly teleports in to tell Masato Mamako is in danger. Masato rushes back to the guild only to find Mamako about to hand over all of their money to a disguised assassin. The assassin flees, leaving a bomb that sounds like a crying baby. Hence Mamako picks it up and disarms the bomb with the skill Mother's Head Pat. Amanti appears, demanding to know why her bomb did not explode but flees after seeing Mamako. The assassin and his team revealed they planted bombs around the city and will set them off unless the girls serve them as maids. However, their interaction with Mamako reminds them of their mothers. In the end, they agree to remove the bombs and apologize to their mothers. Mamako insists everyone share a hot spring to decide their next move, but Amanti bursts in, furious at losing her assassins. However, she becomes embarrassed at the girls bathing naked with Masato, who jumps for joy after seeing a normal reaction, something he had long forgotten. Masami arrives at the guild with all the mothers who volunteered to join their guild, and clear the tower as a thank you for returning 3 of their sons. Amanti plants bombs in the tower to kill them all, but grows frustrated when the mothers are late. She then accidentally blows herself up by falling down the stairs. The party finally makes it inside the tower. They climb the rubble made by Amanti's explosion and make it to the next floor, annoying Amanti. She teleports to another floor and sets a trap to electrocute anyone using metal weapons, but electrocutes herself by accident. A truly disheveled and frustrated Amanti challenges Mamako to a competition to prove she doesn't need a mother. Mamako easily wins both a dishwashing and laundry competition, so Amanti flees again. On the 90th floor, they ran into a trap that strips their armor, leaving everyone in their underwear except the mothers. While Masato is mortified at seeing Mamako in their underwear, which seemed kinda weird to me because you'd think after so many baths together, one would think he wouldn't mind seeing his mom in lingerie. But oh well, different folks, different strokes. Back to the story. Amanti is likewise in her underwear and has transformed all the children into monsters and amplified their anger to make them attack their mothers. Medi and Wise confuse the monsters with magic while Mamako activates a skill, clothing the monsters in armor to find out why their children are unhappy without taking damage. With the children reconciled with their mothers and return to normal, the assassin reveals the wish Amanti wants to be granted is to get rid of all mothers. The party rushes to the 100th floor and gets separated from each other. Masato gets cornered by dozens of fake Mamakos as if it was a horror series, but is saved by the real one. They then reunite with Wise, Medi, and Porta. Amanti defeats the boss and decides to defeat Mamako as well. She reveals her constant rejection of mothers unlocked a disobedience skill that reflects all magic attacks. She then points out that Masato has been unable to experience the adventures and romance he wanted. Masato admits that while this is true, he wants to continue adventuring with Mamako. To put it in other words, it's not the destination that matters, but the friends we made along the way, type shit. Amanti claims she hates all mothers, so Mamako uses a higher skill. Mother says no, injuring but not killing the renowned betrayer of mothers. Amanti then rushes to claim the wish, so Masato blurts out something Mamako wished for, fresh eggs. Amanti is denied her wish and flees. Later, Masami reveals Amanti dropped a dark crystal identical to crystals used to corrupt Wise and Medi's mothers. She also reveals Raibo is made up of 4 fiends, and with Amanti defeated, there are 3 more fiends to defeat, making it their next quest. And while heading up to their new adventure, Masato admits it is no longer just his adventure. It is his and Mamako's. Now the final episode is an OVA and kinda risky, so not to ages the YouTube gods. Here's a quick rundown. The group heads to the beach to enjoy some phi in the sun. As usual, Masato is trying to avoid his mom because it's a beach episode. He gets hit by a flying wooden sword resulting in amnesia. With his memories gone, Mamako uses this opportunity to do some questionable activities her son refuses to do with her after he grew up. As the day goes on, the man falls in love with his mother. And no, not in a cute way, but as in, when a man loves a woman. Later, Loverboy confesses in the most romantic setting and leans for a kiss. Luckily, the hand of God struck and grabbed his beloved, which forced him back to reality. Now drowning in shame, or in this case, water, Mamako splits the sea like Sweet Moses and runs to her child to make sure he is A-OK. The episode ends with the group having some seafood that evidently goes flying off the grill, hitting every chick and erasing their memories. The end.